Tantor Audio, a division of Recorded Books, presents The First Omega by Megan O'Keefe, narrated by Jessica Marchbank. 1. No one lives on the old 6-6 anymore. No one save pirates, ghost trucks, Ma Ricketts, and me. The pirates call me a lot of things in the daylight. Asshole, mudfucker, cockslop, and things too colorful for polite company. At night, they call me the Burner, and they say it real soft. Ma Ricketts calls me Riley. Ain't my name. I think it might have been her daughter's. Maybe an old lover. Doesn't matter anyway. Not much does. When I'm coming for you, nothing you name me is gonna stop me. I've heard a rumor crossing yourself helps. Heard another one that saying Hail Marys buys time. Just goes to show what value rumor holds. The throttle is loose in my hand, warmed up and itching to burst forward. I ease up, slow the beast down. She's got a fresh battery pack in, and her refitted tank treads are eating up the miles. I need her slow. I need her patient. Dusk is when I operate, and the tracks are close. This might have been northern Texas once, or maybe Oklahoma. It's nameless wasteland now, cracked badlands baked in sun and insulated with dry scrub. Everyone scurried off a long time ago, retreated to the devoured coasts in the tropical north. But people still gotta eat, and the ghost trucks push food and goods across land people have long since forgotten the names of. Maybe the land's got a name after all. Mine. The pirates certainly think so. Light glints off the silvery slick of the Pack-At track to the north, and if I didn't know what I was looking for, I'd think it a mirage of water. But I know that glint, know it like the sun-carved wrinkles on the backs of my hands. It's my responsibility, and some very, very stupid people have been fucking with it. The tablet taped to my console flickers at me. A black blip that is me arrows across the broken land toward a red square that is last known location. The assignment appeared on my tablet an hour ago. No description, no details, just, this ghost truck should have been here. It isn't. Find it. Punish those responsible. Well, it didn't say that last part, because that goes without saying. One less pirate in the world is one less worry for my boss at Pack-At. I've seen the news blips after a successful recovery. Truck pirates instigate gunfight. Excessive force was sadly necessary. Sometimes it's true. Sometimes the pirates start the fight. But let's be real. If they get the first shot off, I've screwed up somehow. 9 times out of 10, they never see me coming. It's why I've got names. It's why I'm feared. It's also why they never should have touched Pack-At's main thoroughfare. Track 6-6 runs big game, weapons, tech, seed stock. Those trucks have their own defense systems. Heat-seeking weapons even I stay away from. Normally the pirates pick on smaller game. Produce, cloth, construction materials. Things like that, Pack-At don't come down so hard. I can maybe let one pirate slip off with a crate of onions. But this is a heavy hit. This is damn stupid of them. And that's why it's hard for me to ease off the throttle. Been a long time since I've had a real challenge. 2. Sunlight blasts through the windshield, spearing off the horizon, and I crank up the shaders to filter it out. The track is close, just a couple dozen yards. I kill the beast's engines and coast her over behind a thick bed of sagebrush. With her electric engine, Beast is quiet as a shadow, but I've always been quieter. Soon as I step out, I know there's no need to bother with stealth. Through the bandana tied tight around my nose and mouth, The scent of corpses lies heavy on the air. Heady, sweet and pustulant. I wait for nausea, but it doesn't come. Hasn't come for a long time now, but I like to wait and check anyway. The wind kicks dust and grit into my face, but that's what the bandana and goggles are for. I wipe my goggles on the back of my sleeve and creep forward. No point in being quiet, not with the evidence my nose is giving me, but I like to keep the habit. Rather be overcautious and look foolish than be surprised and dead. Pack-At's ghost truck is dragged off the track and tipped to one side. Its tread tires stick in the air like the legs of a dead cockroach, its metal hide dented and scorched. The ghost truck didn't go down without a fight, though. There's proof enough of that. Bullet holes pepper the ground, accented by swaths of red. Ain't nothing new, not really. Groups of pirates, at least 10 I can see, cooling on the ground, approached the automated truck as it clicked over a checkpoint and got blasted by the turret on the center of its roof. Amateur mistake, that. Any gang hoping to snag a Pack-At truck on the 6-6 should have known better than to stroll on up. Maybe they were desperate. Maybe they were just real dumb. Either way, they'd only been dead an hour, tops, and they shouldn't be rotting like this. The sun speeds things up, sure, but the first corpse I come across is already blackened, skin peeling and putrid curls from his bare arms and face. None of them are familiar to me, so far as I can tell through the rot. I pace through their ranks, marking faces and clothes, looking for anything I recognize. These lot are new to my region, or had been, before the ghost truck cut 'em down. They may not have gotten what they came for, but that truck was still down, and it was my job to discover the fate of its cargo, and to mop up anyone left behind. My rifle swings from my shoulder strap with ease, a practiced motion. The weight is a comfort in my hands, the smooth wooden stock an old friend. Ammo's hard to come by for most, but Pack-At keeps me topped up. Never outright. Every month or so I'll spot a copter cutting through the sky, and lo and behold, there'll be a fresh cache tucked into a familiar place. Much as they don't like publicly acknowledging what I do out here, they'd like it even less if I stopped. The ghost truck's on its side, so I approach at an angle, cutting across the sleek stretch of smart metals that make up the track. Somewhere, in a high-rise office on a sea-choked coast, an algorithm on an overfed computer noticed the touch of my weight, the patter of feet, and kicked off an alert. Human on tracks at these coordinates. And somewhere deep in that computer, another algorithm told the first to calm its tits. I was a known entity. Not so much as a stray shadow lurks around the corners of the ghost truck. The turret whirs pathetically, trying to turn, but just smacking into the dirt over and over again. I put a bullet in its aiming mechanism in case it rallies. Last thing I need is a misguided robot taking a pot shot at me. With the turret quiet, I can hear it now. A gentle scraping that's been nagging at the back of my subconscious. Nothing big could make that noise. I counted on a rat or a possum, maybe even a coyote, come to see if any scraps were left after the pirates were gone. Hadn't counted on a kid. The roof of the ghost truck had been cracked open, bleeding wires and insulation onto the ground. Ozone and iron mingle in the air, prickling my nose through the corpse stench. Emergency red LEDs cast the truck's interior in a bloody glow. Damn thing's empty, stripped clean. Save for the kid. She lies prone on the side of the truck, which is now the floor, partially visible through the crack in the roof. My grip tightens on the rifle. She's 14, maybe 15, wearing black from head to toe. Sleek stuff. The kind of modern material pirates can't afford, let alone keep clean. Her hair is perfectly straight, cut to a razor bob along the line of her chin. There's not a speck of dust on her. She ain't no pirate left behind. She's cargo. "Hey, kid," I say. My throat's rusty, but my words echo in the otherwise empty truck. She stirs, rolling to her back. Eyes so blue they burn, staring up at me out of the reddened dark. Pack-At's genetic engineering trademark. It's been a real long time since I've seen eyes like hers outside of a mirror. "You injured?" The words jerk her upright. She scrambles to her feet, glancing around like a kicked pup, feeling the ground like she's lost something. "I have nothing to give you," she cries. "I ain't no pirate, kid. I'm the rescue, from Pack-At. I say again, you injured?" The girl freezes, squints at me like she's never seen another living being before. Maybe she hasn't. Pack-At can be like that sometimes. "You're with Pack-At?" she asks. There's an edge there, a hint of distaste. I decide to play friendly. Rolling my shoulders, I drop the butt of my rifle to the ground and point it up, away from the kid. More of a mercenary, truth be told. They pay high. I work hard. I recover cargo. Keep it safe. Murder those trying to steal it. Safe. She rolls the word around as if it's foreign. "What's your name?" Her gaze flicks side to side. Nervous kid. "Omega?" I snort and stop just short of saying bullshit. "Who's Alpha, then?" Her head snaps up. Those blue eyes fix me tight. "You know my sister? Is she okay?" Well then, the pirates grabbed some cargo after all. I shake my head and sling the rifle back over my shoulder. "I don't know, Omega, I'm sorry. But I'm here to find her and make sure she's okay. Come on out now, let's get you squared. Then we'll go get Alpha." Omega scuffles toward me, hesitant, blinking against the light leaking in from the roof. She grips each side of the gap, steadying herself. Even her hands are gloved in black, knobby knuckles visible through the thin but sturdy material. She's all bony angles. Pack-At must not feed her much. "You sure Alpha's not out there?" "Ain't no one here but you and me, kid." "Okay," she says, and steps out into the dust. I can't help but think there's relief in her eyes. 3. Omega waits on the other side of the track while I go to check in with my boss. She's got strict orders not to touch the tracks, or truck, or damn near anything else, really. She doesn't seem bothered about it, probably used to taking orders. Satcom takes a while to dial in, but nothing else is secure enough for Pack-At's liking. Their equipment, their signal. Perez's face fades into view through digital snow, and she squints dark eyes at me, as she always does. I don't bother taking the bandana and goggles off for these calls. Perez has stopped asking. "Hunter 7-4, please report," she says. There's no names in my profession, no official trail to follow. I like that just fine. "Truck's salvageable," I say honestly. "Cargo's gone," I lie. Footage spools up on the tablet, a quick sweep of the empty inside of the truck I took with my goggle cam. I show Perez a vista of the rotting corpses, too, just to catch her response. A slight tightening of the jaw, nothing more. Perez has always been a cold customer. "Is the cargo traceable?" "The pirates are. We'll see about the cargo. What am I looking for?" She pushes a wavy mass of brown hair from her eyes, presses her lips together. It's the most movement I've seen out of Perez in years. If she were anyone else, she'd be gibbering on the floor. "2 human women," she says after a too long pause. "They answer to Alpha and Omega. Extremely dangerous. Do not allow skin-to-skin contact." My lip curls like the black flesh of the pirate corpses. Understood. Sedation procedure? Standard trank and bind. Contact me again when you acquire the cargo's location. The tablet screen darkens, cut off from the other end. Scanning the scene with my goggle cam, I cross back over to Omega and cut the feed before she comes into frame. The girl looks up, blue eyes luminous. Are you a danger to me? I ask. She looks down at her gloved hands, gives me a little shake of her head. I don't want to hurt anyone. I let my gaze drift over to the pirate corpses. She winces. That was Alpha. Somehow, I believe her. Liars stick out to me like bonfires in the night, and this kid doesn't have a malevolent bone in her body. Looking at her, I try to frame her as Perez had described her. Woman. Dangerous. I can maybe see dangerous. There's death in those hands, I've no doubt. But a woman? Kid's all bones. And those eyes of hers, they're too naive. Too jackrabbit scared. Can you jump the track? I ask. She eyes it, subconsciously pushing to her toes to stretch her calves. Yeah. Good. Let's go. Don't touch the track. Where are we going? To get you some food and ask some questions. She's dancer light on her feet, clears the track in one effortless bound. Sorry, sensory algorithms, no surprise input for you to chew over today. The beast ain't meant for passengers. Pacat never wants me to bring back pirates as prisoners. Too costly. Too likely to talk to the wrong ears. Omega clambers into the back, wedging gangly teenager legs in among old clothes and bits and bobs I used for repair. She doesn't complain, which is good because I wouldn't give a shit anyway. Saves us both time. 4. Ma Ricketts. Picture a woman, 60, maybe 70. Had a few kids in her time, husbands long since gone to dust. Owns a diner on the verge of civilization. Cooks a mean canned peach pie. Words like pleasantly plump probably come to mind. Motherly. Rubenesque, even, if you're of a certain mindset. The woman in your head has short hair, perfectly coiffed and tinted a steely blue-gray. She smiles and she's got dimples, and she won't let you leave until you've eaten more than your fill. That ain't Ma Ricketts. Well, maybe that last part. She's a skeleton of a woman. Flesh sucked in around the bones, ropey muscles bulging against the long smock dress she wears as a uniform. Only thing that gives her a shape that isn't straight is the cinch of her apron, tied so tight around her waist, you wonder if she's trying to cut herself in twain. Her hair is short, but it's all in sawed chunks dyed nuclear green. She don't smile much, because smiling would interrupt her chain smoking. It's true about the pie, though. Beast kicks up a dust plume she can see from the horizon, and as soon as my foot crosses the diner's threshold, Ma Ricketts plunks a gleaming plate of biscuits and gravy on my usual table. The kid gives her pause. She squints at Omega, nods to herself, sucks down a long drag of her cigarette, and exhales the smoke as she says, "Just a moment." She's wearing bunny slippers today. One dingy pink ear flops forlornly as she stomps back to the kitchen. We sit, and I shove a glass of water toward the kid as I set about dismantling my biscuits. The kid hitches up an eyebrow. I guess she was raised someplace with manners. "Tell me why I just lied for you," I say. That eyebrow comes crashing down. Ma Ricketts appears over her shoulder, shoves a matching plate in front of the kid, gives me a look, and scuffles off. It happens in an instant, but it's enough time for the kid to gather herself. "I don't know," she says. "All right. Let's start a little simpler. Tell me why you and your sister were in that truck. I don't know. Take a guess. Gravy dribbles down her chin, and every word she speaks is in between bites. Cheeks puffed like a prairie dog, she swallows hard, gulps water, and leans back to look at me. I've got the goggles shoved up, the bandana yanked down. Eyes like ours, they're hard to miss. She nods to herself. You know, she says. Pretend real hard that I don't. Some things I work too hard to forget. Far as I'm concerned, my life began the day I set foot on these badlands. Pacat was going to send us to the Atlantic Coalition. Why? She rolls bony shoulders. Corporate summit? There were some people they wanted us to meet. My gaze locks on her gloved hands, and she nods. So, Pacat hasn't changed much since my tenure. I never really thought they would. They keep me on the books, after all. But they've gotten sloppy, sad to say. Some of their enemies must have found out what that truck held, or at least suspected strongly enough to risk the attack. It's no large leap of logic. It's always been easier to smuggle undesirables across the land instead of through the sky, and augment checks at airports make air travel even harder for Pacat's operatives. Private jets or no, every major city in the world's got a wide radius scanner attached to their ATC now, and once those sirens start complaining, they're real hard to keep quiet. You sure you just freelance? She asks, looking at me hard, wondering what eyes like ours are doing in a skull out here in the middle of nowhere. Designer eyes cost. Designer eyes with a gleam only other Pacat operatives can see cost more. I am. How? Long story, I say, and wave Ma Ricketts down for some coffee. This was my first mission, she says, unprompted, and something clicks into place in my mind. That hesitant shuffle before she stepped out of the truck, the furtive movement of her gaze. But not your sister's. No. So, someone knew Alpha was on that ghost truck, but they hadn't counted on Omega. 5. While the kid's in the bathroom, Ma Ricketts sits herself across from me and drags long and hard on her cigarette. Who is she? She asks. Cargo. There's a twitch at the corner of her lips, a subtle thing soon masked by a gust of smoke. Twin plumes spill out from her nostrils as she snorts. Ma Ricketts, the dragon of the Badlands, is angry with me. Augmented operative. I offer the information as an olive branch. Got a sister. Pirates took her. I'm going to find her. And then? I shrug. She knows how this goes. Ma Ricketts sighs smoke and leans back, tapping ash from her cigarette onto the girl's scraped clean plate. There's a whole lot of knowledge in that stare. Whole lot of pain, too. Ma Ricketts ran this diner long before I ever stepped foot across its threshold, and I figure she'll still be here after I've joined the dirt. Her diner may not have a name, but everyone out here knows it. Pirates, too, though they scatter like tumbleweeds when the beast kicks up enough dust to let him know I'm coming. I think it was an old truck stop, before the highways dried up and the ghost trucks took sharper paths across the land. Doesn't matter what it was. It's her territory now, and neutral as the wind. But she blows in my sails more often than she blows against them. New boys? She asks. All the dead ones, at any rate. Truck was riding the 6-6. Turret took him down. The other kid took him down too, but that's not any of Ma Ricketts' concern. They'd have to be new to hit the 6-6. She flicks the old cigarette into the remnants of Omega's gravy and strikes up another. She's never offered me one. I've never asked. Haven't had any new peg legs round here, but I've heard some whispers. Rada's clan, they were grumbling about a couple new dumb fucks overdrawing the well out Pesco Ridge Way. That's all I've heard. That'll be enough. She levers herself to her feet and shuffles off as the bathroom door swings open. Before the kid can reach the table, I down the dregs of my coffee and stand, pulling the goggles back into place. Got a lead. We're going. She crosses her arms over her chest and follows me out to the beast. Pesco Ridge. Not much out there, save Rada and her gang. Big place. Lots of brush and rockfall. A real good place to hide. 6. Rada's burning bonfires tonight, and the ridge is lit up with sienna and orange brushstrokes. The whoops of her people echo across the wasteland, big throaty laughs and banjo and drum affairs ringing out the night. Omega sticks her face up close against the windshield, hair swaying. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people in here, too. 2 is one too many, but I shrug and stroke the throttle, angling us so they can't see the dust. Not a lot of choice for some folk. You understand. She doesn't, but she nods like she does. I never had much trouble with Rada's people. She keeps them on a tight leash, only taking what's needed. Though Ma Ricketts won't say, I'm certain Rada's the source of her flour. There's a lot of shit I'd put up with to keep those biscuits on my plate. Rada's not the type to go looking for a fight unless she's gotta, and some new blood overdrawing the well is bound to push her to that edge. There's a frantic note to the music bleeding out of her camp, a riled-up tension. She's getting him ready to strike. Probably not tonight. Tonight, they'll binge. But tomorrow night's a whole nother story. I'll need to have my prize in hand before Rada hits. No telling what she'd do about Alpha if she stumbled across her. Probably some fool thing, like try to help her out. But it's not Rada's gang I'm looking for tonight. Out on the other side of the ridge, the brush thickens. Things that a man born to the desert might mistake for trees reach up above the spiny undergrowth, knobby branches scraping at the clear sky. It's neutral territory, but not for lack of trying by the gangs in the area. It's neutral because I say it is. For all their hollering at each other, the pirates don't do a lot of hollering at me. That's a real quick way to lose a tongue. New blood won't know any better, but they'll learn. Weathered sandstone gravel spills down from hoodoo spires, making traction a fairy tale. The terrain's not made for tires. I'd argue it ain't made for human feet either, but that's never stopped me. My feet may look the part, but they stopped being held back by humanity a long time ago. Low to the ground as she is, it's easy to cover the beast in a thicket of spiny grasses. Not so easy to cover your tracks for me, though I don't think the new gang are trying. Could be they don't know I'm out here. Could be they don't care. Wouldn't be the first group to come to the Badlands with some kind of death wish. The light in their camp gives me pause. There's an established color palette to the Badlands. Everything out here, including me, is shades of ochre yellow and burnt sienna. This land's the color of dying metal and old blood, scabs and rust. But the light coming out of that camp is blue, white, the kind of light reserved for the ghost trucks. Their silvery metal the only touch of cool in this blasted land. It's the kind of light that matches the kids' clothes, sleek and clean. Light from another place, another time. Light from a part of my life I've worked real hard to forget. But Pacat ain't paying me to keep the nightmares at bay. They're paying me to be the nightmare, and I've got a job to do. Still,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?